Welcome to Agora by Give Something Back to Berlin. In this podcast series, we'll be finding out how migration has changed our urban landscape and exchange ideas with those who are making a difference. Join us while we tackle issues ranging from human rights and diversity to migrant identity and belonging. Hello, welcome to Agora. I'm Gaby, and today I'm joined by Ricarda from the Open Kitchen. The Open Kitchen is one of the incredible projects from Give Something Back to Berlin. Welcome, Ricarda.
Hi.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Open Kitchen, how it came about and what your role is?
Sure. So I guess the Open Kitchen is one of the beginnings really of Give Something Back to Berlin. The kitchen's been running for going on 10 years as well now, and very humble beginnings on dodgy gas cookers. So the story behind it is that a group of migrants and refugees who were housed in very difficult conditions all over Germany, very isolated from the rest of German society, marched on Berlin to protest for more rights, more inclusion into the German society, and to do that occupied a space in Kreuzberg, Oranienplatz. So there was a lot of people living in tents and sort of makeshift shelters in a very hard, harsh and cold winter. And obviously people who live together need to eat. And the idea behind the cooking back then was to find a space that wasn't about the political messaging, because they were doing that really well. They were telling their stories and their demands really well, but the idea was to just find a space to get together as humans, and finding spaces that were not about the labels, not about the barriers, but spaces that could break down those barriers that are created by terms like refugee, local, expat, migrant, and just find out who the person is behind that label. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through food, because food becomes that shared language that you speak together despite not having another language in common. And because food is such an intimate and often emotional topic, because it's connected with memories, you know, the smells trigger memories, but also the recipes have traveled and mean so much to people. So to share that in these settings kind of enables us to meet as equals, because we all can relate to what it's like to share food with someone.
Yeah.
And my role in that, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What do I do? What
do
don't
do?
I do?
Everything.
I run around up and down a lot of stairs. What is my role? Basically, I'm trying to make sure that the people have what they need in order for that to happen, in order for people to be able to sit at a table and eat together and meet and share food.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just facilitate and hold that space.
Amazing. Yeah, it's I think food is something that we can all enjoy and relate, you know. It also reminds you of like cooking at home with your family, and it's a really great way to bring people together.
It creates that home away from home, right? And a family setting, especially once it becomes regular, like the Open Kitchen. It's every Wednesday evening. And you know there's going to be familiar faces. Yeah. People who are interested in your process, where you're at, where you were last week, where you're going to go. And this becomes that space that we all remember as children, you know. We get together for the meal and find out where the other person has been, what they've been up to and what they want to do the next day. And it becomes that space.
So you're working with people from all over the world. What kind of cuisines are you cooking? Do you have any favorite meals that you've cooked?
What have we not done? I think it's been 10 years of food, you know. Some of the standout meals. We had an Indian person join us. I think it was last summer, and everyone still talks about titash, you know. Was it paneer tikka masala, something? Oh, it's just incredible, and everyone still talks about it. And where's Titash now? Can he come back, please? but there's so many different moments for so many different reasons. You know, there's sometimes just feeding large groups of people, sometimes joining the Berliner Obdachlosenhilfe, cooking really simple things like pasta and rice, but having that experience of sharing it with a completely different set of guests and stories. And I really couldn't say
a favorite one.
No.
They're all unique and different.
Yeah.
And I guess also it depends, like you said, how big the groups are. If you're cooking for loads of people, it's more intimate. That changes what you're making as well.
And the stories around it, right?
Yeah. Is there like an element of storytelling when someone's like hosting a cooking?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course. A lot of the time the stories are around like, where did I eat this the first time? What are the memories connected to this? But sometimes it's more geopolitical, you know, like Pepe, who is an Italian guest who comes and runs workshop for us regularly. He knows how the food has arrived in Italy and talks about this, like, why is it like this? Why is the sauce, you know, paired with this type of pasta? And he's got that sort of historical context. And sometimes it's a really private story that someone will share with you.
Yeah, so you can also learn a lot about different cuisines from different parts of the world. And yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And so what do you think it is about food and cooking that really connects people?
I think it's a multitude of factors. One is really biological, chemical, because smell triggers memory. Smell is that one sense that triggers our memory most intensely. So when you smell something you smelled when you were young, it just transports you, you know. But at the same time, I think it's such an equalizer, because we all have to eat to survive, you know. It's like one of the most basic human needs. And that way it just kind of brings us all to the same level in a way. What else is it about food? Everyone has a story around food, you know. There's no way of disconnecting your life from the food that you've eaten, because it has sustained you, you know. Yeah, and the cultural references too, you know. A lot of us have experience of being in different places and what it's like to crave something. Than the excitement of finding it somewhere. And
totally, like missing certain comfort foods from back home.
And then sharing that with people, you know, like that's the thing, and other people get excited about it too.
I don't think many people are going to be getting excited about Marmite.
It's a half and half thing, isn't it?
I think most people, if they don't grow up with Marmite, they're not up for it.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, but I also kind of grew up with it.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So we have one question that we ask all our guests, and that is, what does giving back mean to you?
It's an interesting question. In a way, I feel like it's a little bit loaded, because I don't want to come from this place of privilege and like me giving something to someone changes their life, or is that this significant act. I feel more like it's this give and take at all times. Like me facilitating the open kitchen or the Sprachcafés or whatever it is, I don't know if the people who come as participants actually benefit from that more than I do, because I feel like I get just as much back as the person who come as the participants who are technically supposed to benefit from the projects. So I feel like that's really hard to separate, because I'm getting so much out of it at the same time as I'm putting so much into it that it's I just can't really separate that.
It's a sharing process, right?
Yeah.
You give and you're taking, and it's
And I just recently kind of on a whim decided to join base class, because it starts at 7:30 when cooking roughly finishes, and I was a participant again for the first time in a long time, and it was so nice to be on the other side, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what we do, this is the space we create for people, and this is what people experience when they come to cooking. how lovely is that? So I don't really feel like I can say I'm just giving something back. I'm taking at the same time.
Amazing, thank you so much for sharing your work, and it was really great having a chat.
Thanks, Gaby.
And to our listeners, I hope you join us next time. Thank you.